Week 9 Dom picks. Let's kick it off with the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. JJ McCarthy more than likely will begin to start his first game back since week 2, and he has to look much better than how he looked the first 2 games of the year, because going against this Detroit Lions defense is going to be a tough matchup. That defensive line does a fantastic job of generating pressure on quarterbacks. Nid in the secondary, they're getting a little bit more healthier. Brian Branch is going to be back from his 1-game suspension. Kirby Joseph should return in this game, and we'll see at the corner positions. I'm not sure if Arnold and DJ Reed are going to be ready to come back. And looking at JJ McCarthy, he struggled to get the ball to his playmakers, and he was sacked over 10 times. I think Kelvin Shepard and his defensive unit are going to get after McCarthy and make it difficult for him to establish a rhythm in his first game back. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions. I think there's a high likelihood that JJ McCarthy will struggle in his first game back. Hutch and that defensive line have the advantage over the Minnesota offensive line. Broncos and Texans, this is going to be a defensive dogfight. Both units are in the top 5 in nearly every category. One concern for the Denver Broncos, they will probably be without Patrick Surtain II, not only for this week, but for the foreseeable future. The Texans offense should be getting Nico Collins and Christian Kirk back. That's a boost for them, as their offense can't take advantage of no PS2 in the secondary. I've been going back and forth for this one. I'm going to lean with the Denver Broncos, because in the second half of the Cowboys game, we saw how that defense looked with no PS2. The secondary was still able to hold up in coverage, allowing that pass rush to generate pressure. I believe that can carry over, as the Texans offense still has some question marks about them. Chargers and Titans, this one is easy. I'm taking LA. They should handle business this week against a Tennessee Titans team that's not locked in, and looking forward to having a high draft pick. Bears and the Bengals, looking at that offensive unit in Chicago, I've been disappointed with them, especially Caleb Williams. Pre-bye, he was throwing for around 230 yards. He had 8 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions. Post-bye, however, he's been able to maintain throwing for around 230 yards, but he's only thrown for 1 touchdown, and he only has 2 interceptions. That offense is capable of moving the ball. They have a ton of weapons on the perimeter. DeAndre Swift is starting to get going on the ground. The problem for them is that they have back-breaking penalties, along with the fact that they don't execute in the red zone. This week, they have a great matchup against that Cincinnati defense, so there's definitely an opportunity for this offense to get back on track. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears. With the question marks surrounding Joe Flacco's health, I believe Chicago has the opportunity to get a bounce back win. Niners and Giants, we'll see if Brock Purdy is available for this game. And on the other side, we'll see how Jackson Dart and this young team responds after losing Cam Scatterboo last week. The Giants are hoping that Tyron Tracy Jr. can replicate his success from his rookie season last year to fill that void. I see this game being close because Jackson Dart is capable of using his legs, and San Fran's defense is banged up on all 3 levels. But I'm going to take San Fran. I believe CMC is going to have a bounce back performance. Going against this Giants defense, there's not only an opportunity for him on the ground, but through the air as well. Panthers and Packers, Bryce Young should be returning after missing last week, and it looks like Rico Dotto will get the fair share of carries over Chuba Hubbard. All that considered, I'm taking Green Bay. Their defense is starting to click, as Michael Parsons is forcing teams to have to double and triple team him. That's allowing Rashawn Gary to get one-on-ones, and he's winning those more times than not. And offensively, I'm expecting Josh Jacobs to be a factor here after Carolina just gave up 200-plus yards on the ground to James Cook. Atlanta and New England. For the Falcons, Michael Penix Jr. should be returning, and that's needed because Kirk Cousins looked uninspiring. Bijan Robinson had his worst game of the year. It's going to be a tough game for him to bounce back, as the New England run defense is top 3. The one improvement from Atlanta this year has been their pass rush. I'm still going to take the Patriots. I like what I've seen from Drake May in that offense. My main concern for Atlanta is going to be their offense, as they've been up and down this year. And if they're down, it's going to be difficult for them to overcome the New England Patriots on the road. Colts and Steelers, I'm going to take Indy. I like what I've seen from their offensive unit. And with the Pittsburgh Steelers, their defense has been lackluster. They're allowing the most passing yards per game. Although I do have to note, the run defense is slowly improving. This week, they have a tough matchup going against Jonathan Taylor, who's been sensational. 4 games this year with 3 touchdowns. I believe his stellar year continues here. And looking at the other side of the ball, the Colts defense is opportunistic. They're in the top 3 for most takeaways. That could continue in this matchup as the Steelers offense is middle of the pack. Jags and Raiders, I'm going to take Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence has been slightly better than Geno. Now it's expected for Brock Bowers to return this week. Maybe that helps Geno cut down on the turnovers. Saints and Rams, I'm taking the Rams. Puka is making his return this week. I don't believe New Orleans defense has an answer for him. On the other side, Tyler Shuck is getting his first start. I believe the Rams defense is going to get after him and make it very difficult for the offense to establish a rhythm. Chiefs and Bills. Buffalo has dominated in the regular season, but where it matters most, KC has dominated in the postseason. Coming into this game, both teams are above 500. However, in my opinion, KC is trending higher than Buffalo. For the Bills, we know they can run the football. Going up against a team like KC, that's going to be important, but you're going to need that passing game to step up when it matters most. And they don't have that bona fide wide receiver who can step up and join the party with Josh Allen and James Cook. Meanwhile, in KC, they start off slow, and we all thought that this might be the end of a dynasty. No. Once they got Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy back, that offense has been incredible, and the defensive unit and kicking game have stepped up, playing complementary football, making it difficult to beat this Kansas City team. My X factor for this game is going to be the Buffalo Bills wide receiving core. They have to step up. I'm assuming that Spags is going to take away James Cook in this running game and put all the pressure on those receivers to make plays down the field. This is going to be an important game for seeding purposes down the line. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Their offense has been unstoppable the last couple of weeks, and Buffalo's defense does not give me the confidence that they will step up this week. Although their secondary is getting healthier, I'm not sure if they can match up against Rasheed Rice, Xavier Worthy down the field, or against Travis Kelce that's starting to get his mojo back. Defensively with KC, I'm expecting their unit to make plays and take away the run game, forcing Josh Allen to push the ball down the field with a receiving core that I believe it's a make or break game for them in terms of whether or not that organization is going to go after a receiver at the deadline. Sunday Night Football, Seahawks and Commanders. For Washington, Jaden Daniels is questionable, but I think he will be available for this game. Terry McLaurin, he's going to be out as he re-aggravated that quad injury. This is an important game for the Commanders, as if they go 3-6, their playoff chances take a huge dip. On the other side, Seattle has gone off to a great start. The Sam Darnold JSN connection has been amazing, and Jigba looks like a top receiver, and Darnold looks like he deserved every penny of that contract. Defensively, McDonald has resurrected that unit. We've looked really good despite having the injuries in the secondary. Witherspoon has missed a couple of games along with Julian Love. Hopefully, we can get those pieces back this week. I'm going to take Seattle. For the Washington Commanders offense, this is a tough matchup as our defense is very stingy. And on the other side of the ball, I believe our offense can exploit the Commanders defense. They don't have a lockdown corner that can make it difficult on JSN. And lastly, to wrap it up, we got Monday Night Football, the Arizona Cardinals on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. I believe this game is going to be a shootout as neither team has a good defense. In the case of Arizona, their secondary seems like they got a bit healthier during their bye week. Elsewhere on that squad, we'll see if Kyler Murray makes his return. He's listed as questionable. If he does play, there's some pressure on him because before the Cardinals went on bye, Jacoby Brissett looked like the better quarterback, at least in this offensive scheme. And we know that Murray is the more talented quarterback. Production-wise, it hasn't shown. This is a great matchup for Kyler Murray to come back and produce. And if he doesn't, there's going to be some questions surrounding the quarterback position in Arizona. I'm going to take Dallas. I believe this is a bounce back for that entire offensive unit. Jake Ferguson in particular, 0 catches on 1 target. I think he's going to have a strong performance in this one. Plus, you have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. They're going to have strong games as well. And when it comes to Dak, I believe we're going to see the version of him prior to the Denver Broncos game. And on the other side, with so many questions surrounding whether or not Kyler Murray can produce in this offense, the Cowboys defense can take advantage of that, giving them a win going into their bye. That's going to wrap up this week of Dom Picks. If you made it to the end, much love as always. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below your predictions for week 9. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.